It's been said that by the year 2030, there will be a need for at least 3.5 million more orderlies, nursing aides, and attendants. Montgomery County also has a very high need. The need is acute, and one local foundation said that that is not acceptable. So find out what they're doing to help with the situation next on Connecting Our Community. Hi, I'm Pat Shoemaker. Welcome to Connecting Our Community. Our guests this evening are Sandy Kurzban, founder of the Family and Nursing Care Foundation, and with Sandy is her son Neil Kurzban, president of Family and Nursing Care. Thank you both for joining us. And I said in the introduction, the tease, that there is a critical need for nursing orderlies, nursing aides, and there is, but in Montgomery County, you wouldn't think that there is that great a need. So what is the circumstance?
The population is increasing with the older adults, and there's a very important need to have more caregivers to take care of our older adults.
Of which I am one.
and I am too.
Yeah. So what caused you to start a foundation?
Start the foundation. Well, I started my company, Family and Nursing Care, in 48 years ago. And so what happened 8 years ago in 2008, I decided that I was going to retire. And then I decided that I had one more dream that I had to fulfill, and my dream was to start a foundation. And so Neil at that point was asked to run the company, and which I had run for 40 years prior to that. And here I am with my wonderful foundation.
Yeah. And Neil, how do you get involved with the foundation? Are you part of the foundation itself?
I mean, I am involved. My main responsibility is running the day-to-day of the company, Family and Nursing Care. So Sandy, my mother, has taken her dream of not running the company, and then, of course, now...
And what does the foundation do, specifically? What?
Well, let me mention something about the foundation. When I set it up in 2008, we became a fund of the Community Foundation for Montgomery County. And what we do is we give grants. And we offer 2 grants every year. We've been giving a grant to 2 organizations that provide home care. And then we also have another grant that we recently gave to Montgomery College.
And what does, and I know we're going to have a guest from Montgomery College
Right.
coming up later, but so you've got this foundation that gives money to fund people to go to school, or to fund people to get someone, or what exactly?
Well, it's both. So the foundation, what it does, it gives grants to organizations like Community Ministries of Rockville and Home Care Partners, and they have caregivers that will go into the home and care for the older adults. They have nursing assistants, and they go into homes of low-income seniors to help them.
I just want to clarify, because it can be confusing.
Yeah.
The business that we have has nursing assistants that go into the homes of older adults. The foundation also serves that very same purpose, but the people can't afford. So our company, you have to pay privately for that service. You have to pay out of your own pocket. This is for those that don't have the financial means to be able to afford to pay for the home care.
Okay. And for the senior, what do you consider a senior age, or what would be the age of the people who can take advantage of the grants or the foundation benefits?
I probably 65 and older. I mean, many of them are much older than that, but probably 65.
Yeah.
Right, but the majority, just like our clientele, it's not that dissimilar, are usually in the mid to late 80s is the average age
Yeah.
of someone who's getting this type of care.
Yeah. And what type of care is offered by the people who get your
The recipients of the
foundation
grant, where they get care with bathing, the activities of daily living, bathing, showering, helping them with their medication, a lot of it is companionship. So many of the people, you know, they live alone, and it's just they just so look forward to somebody coming into their home and kind of being with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's basically what it is.
Yeah. And do you find that you have more people living at home these days, or are more people of a senior age, so to speak, going into assisted living care facilities? Do you?
Should I take that?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's both.
Yeah.
The reality is it's both. There's a lot of people that are, well, obviously there's a lot of people live here in Montgomery County, and as we know, the baby boomer generation hasn't even hit the 85-year mark.
Right.
They're not even close to that yet. So the need for, so to answer your question directly, yes, there's a lot of people want to stay in their home, and there are often scenarios where it's better for that individual to be in an independent living community or an assisted living community.
Mhm.
And there are times when we actually help service someone may need additional attention in those communities, and occasionally we'll help there as well.
Yeah. So you have the foundation. How do you get the funds for that? Is it strictly?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
Well, it starts with our company. Family Nursing Care funds quite a bit of it, and a lot of our clients from our company, our company, they actually make donations. They're really out of gratitude. They're so grateful for the caregivers that
Yeah.
they have, and they know that there's going to be such a great need for more, so they'll send us some money, and then I match everything.
Wow.
So whatever the company pays and other donations that we get, I've been able to.
Wow. Good person to
I
have as
know.
your mom.
Right.
Dollar for dollar match.
Yeah, that's
so it's
great.
been really great.
Yeah. So you get the funds, and then how would somebody apply to use the funds?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, the money goes to it gets sent to the Community Foundation for Montgomery County, and then I decide who I like to give grants to. And as I said earlier, we give out 3 grants, and then the Community Foundation, they write a check, and I just send it off to our grantees,
Yeah.
and they take care of it and give me a report every year.
Yeah. And if I were of that age, I'm a few months short, but if if I needed help and couldn't afford it, how would I, as a potential client, find out about this? Or is there an application? Do you do a decision based on location or economics or?
Well, right now, because the grants go to the 2 organizations that I mentioned before, they determine they're the ones that determine where the money goes.
Okay.
And it usually goes, to the subsidized housing where a lot of the people live and that can't afford the care.
Yeah. So what kind of things would your orderlies, aides, I don't know what you call them, the people who
Yeah.
actually go to
Yeah.
the senior citizen's home, what kinds of things would they be able to do? Are they trained medically?
Oh yeah, they're certified, or they're all very much trained, very trained, and they know what to do. They do the bathing, whatever is needed. I mean, the first thing they do when they walk in the door is with a big smile on their face
Yeah.
and a big
That's
hug.
really the most important thing,
and
I
it
think.
is, because there's so much loneliness as people get older when they live by themselves, and they love
I mean,
it.
a lot of the stories I hear is sometimes there's a little, or a lot often, apprehension to having a stranger come into the home, and what are they
Yeah.
going to do? And there's all these stories, the negative stories you can get on the newspaper and things.
Yeah.
So fortunately, it's a very okay. So our company, I don't want to confuse the two,
Right.
but there's a very thorough vetting process for caregivers, these certified nursing assistants, to go into the homes.
Yeah.
And it's a very rigorous screening process, whether it's through our company, Family Nursing Care, and of course the grantees also have their screening process to make sure those that are going into the home are doing it
Yeah.
in a way that's safe and
Yeah.
they can feel comfortable and secure with who's in there.
Yeah, and that's so important, because you do hear all of these horror stories about people coming in to give care, and then they steal things, or
Right.
they don't give the care that they are paid to give, or horrible things like that.
And it's like anything else. It's a very, very small percentage, but to say it never
Hits the
happens, it does happen. Or it
Right.
has not with us, but it happens. You hear about it.
Right,
but,
exactly.
it
So
exists.
if somebody watching wanted to donate money, do you accept private donations, or is it strictly through your current clientele? How would somebody be able to help?
We welcome donations, and they would just send them to to my company, Family and Nursing Care Foundation.
Okay, and I'm sure that the address, website, or telephone number will be available at the
Yeah,
end.
right.
Well, believe it or not, we have come to the end of our first half of the show. I want to thank you both so much. It's just been really interesting. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When you donate goods in response to an international disaster, it's expensive.
They have to cross the sea, pass through customs, be inspected, sorted, then finally delivered.
And often they arrive too late to help, making your good intentions feel a little empty.
There is a better way.
Cash donations are fast, simple, and allow professional relief workers to purchase supplies close at hand.
Cash is best. Learn more at CIDI.org.
It's our duty to serve veterans and military families who serve their country in the most difficult ways imaginable. Together, we can say thank you in so many ways. Small acts of kindness mean more than anything. With our support, veterans and military families can face even the most difficult challenges. Let's honor their service with ours.
Hi, and welcome back to Connecting Our Community. On this part of the show, we've been joined by representatives from two of the groups that are working with the Family and Nursing Care Foundation. First, we have Carol Ronrud, the Executive Director of the Montgomery College Foundation. And we also have Marla Lahat, and she is with an organization that I will get to in just a second. But Marla, I did want to start with you because there seemed to be a little confusion from the first half of the show, just the way the foundation works and your part and relationship to it.
Yeah, I am the executive director of Home Care Partners, which is a nonprofit home care organization. We do very much what Family and Nursing Care does. We provide home care services to older people who need help with bathing, dressing, laundry, housekeeping, whatever they might need. The difference is the people that we serve often cannot pay for the services themselves. And so the Family and Nursing Care Foundation provides a grant to us. We're extremely appreciative because it allows us to serve more people who really need the care but could not afford to do so.
And how much would it generally run for someone to pay for these services if there were not a grant, if there were not a foundation, if there were not you?
Well,
or your
there's
organization?
certainly a range of prices. And I can only speak for some that I'm aware of,
Yeah.
but I would say the average cost is, at this point, probably $20 or more dollars per hour.
Wow.
So when you start to add that up, it really does add up fast,
And-
and most people just can't afford
Yeah.
that.
And how long does each treatment or service or whatever usually last? Is there a generic number that perhaps an aide would be in your home for half an hour or 3 hours or overnight or something?
I think again, it really varies. What Home Care Partners has done with the grant is to provide a service that is not usually provided. We call it our light care program, so that we serve people who need a little bit of help to remain in their homes. They might need 3 hours a week. And that 3 hours a week, funded by the Family and Nursing Care Foundation, allows them to get just that little bit of help, that little bit of support, so they can remain independently in their homes.
So these are also people who should not be in an assisted living circumstance. They are people who are basically okay living on their own, but might need just a little bit of something extra, not medically necessary or something.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
They might need somebody to be there to help them with their bath. maybe to prepare a nutritious meal, to do the laundry for them. And if they didn't have that help, that might be the factor that would then require that they go into an assisted living. But with that little bit of help, they can stay in the community.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? To keep people independent as long as possible is
Absolutely,
yeah.
and that's what everybody wants. That's what most people want to do.
Yeah. Again, you hear these horror stories of assisted living facilities where they're not really assisting; they're just sort of taking your money and not doing anything. So yes, being able to stay on your own is a wonderful thing. And that brings us to Carol, because there have to be people who provide these services to take advantage of the funds from the foundation. It's all a big circle. But so you help with providing people.
Right. So with the wonderful assistance of the Family and Nursing Care Foundation and their incredible generosity, we're able to provide a pipeline for that workforce for the CNAs to actually go into the home. What we know at Montgomery College is poverty is the biggest barrier to people going to school and finding meaningful jobs, whether it's going into a certificate program like the CNA or going in for a degree. But someone who would like to go into the CNA program at Montgomery College, the cost, it can be a huge barrier. And so thanks to the generosity of the Family and Nursing Care Foundation, they cover several students a semester to be able to take this class. This class costs about $1,700 a semester, but in addition to that, as they said, no one wants anyone to come into their home that hasn't had a background check, that hasn't had fingerprinting, that hasn't had the myriad of screenings that you would need to trust someone with your family. And so, and there are so many jobs available. You know, 12% of the million people that live in Montgomery County are 65 and older.
Wow.
And the trend is people want to age and at home. People want to age in place. And the statistics show from AARP and other organizations that track this that people that live at home live longer. But they aren't able to do this without a very skilled workforce. And I think that Neil brought it up earlier that by 2020 there's going to be about 35,000 jobs or 3,500 jobs in this county that we need to fill. And so the Montgomery College is providing that important role. And the Montgomery College Foundation, through the generosity of donors like the Family and Nursing Care Foundation, are able to bridge that financial barrier so that the people in poverty can pull maybe themselves as well as their family out of poverty through this wonderful healthcare track.
Right. And on the other receiving end of that, people, as you say, who are older are able to stay in their homes because there are people who will provide these services to allow them. So it really does work perfectly together.
And it's an industry standard credential that we give them. And I think that would give me, as a family member, having someone take care of, that gives me comfort. That gives me a sense of trust that they've had, that they're qualified, that they've gone through these trainings, that they've gone, and then they can come and do that. Also, the people that attend and go to Montgomery College, 70% stay in the area. And as you spoke about earlier, the need is just growing. It is, you know, we are getting older and we're getting poorer in Montgomery County, so we have to figure out a way to deal with the aging population and help people in poverty find jobs, and so it's a perfect marriage.
Yeah. And how do you reach out to potential students? Do you recruit in high schools? Do you recruit at hospitals?
Well, we have 60,000 students at Montgomery College, so it typically is the largest undergraduate institution in the state. We have several methods of communication. Obviously, we have a robust website. We go into the high schools. For this particular area, we have much more demand than we have ability to fill in terms of there's a lot of people that want to, but again, the financial aspect is often the big barrier that they can't get in. So in our health sciences, we've been offering health sciences courses at our Tacoma Park Silver Spring campus for decades. And we currently have over 2,000 students in the health sciences area, both in credit and non-credit. So they know, obviously we have a marketing department, but people know that Montgomery College is the place to go. We're the community's college. And so for us to be able to train people in this area is something that we value, and we hope that the community values what we're doing in this.
Do you find, I'll get back to you, Marla, I'm sorry, but do you find that it is mostly students in high school who want to get into the program, or older women and men who maybe did something different and now want to change to this field?
It's a variety. I will say that it is an area that is being explored by those that that maybe find it harder to go through a credit track. Although it is the testing is hard. I think it's difficult. We have to make sure that their English language skills are up to par to be able to communicate. That's a crucial part of the caregiving. But I would say it's typically not people right out of high school. No, I don't think that this is something that it is typically older than those right out of high school. I'd say in the definitely over 30.
Yeah. And Marla, do you find that because it's possibly an older person, older relatively speaking, an older person who's being the aide, that the recipient is more comfortable than that person would be if an 18-year-old came in and said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a bath today"?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the 18-year-old.
Yeah, that's true too.
It does. And we have CNAs, certified nursing assistants, who work with us, who range in age, but we have an older workforce for the most part, and our clients do respond very well. They trust them more, they relate better. But certainly there are wonderful younger aides and there are wonderful older aides. So
and if I were a senior citizen and I wanted to take advantage of your services, possibly couldn't afford it, or maybe could, but how do I make the connection with you?
Okay. Home Care Partners as a nonprofit works under various contracts through Montgomery County. So that's always an option, to call Montgomery County Aging and Disability Services. But for the program that we fund with the generosity of the Family and Nursing Care Foundation, currently we're working in 5 senior buildings within the county, 5 subsidized senior buildings. So residents in those buildings can talk to the resident counselor and then hopefully get a referral.
Yeah. So if I lived on my own in a private home, I would not necessarily be able to take advantage of this at this time.
There are other resources that might be available, but the way we've structured this program, it works very well to have the program in senior buildings.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Well, believe it or not, we've come to the end of the show. I want to thank you both so much, and also Sandy and Neil from our first half of the show. For more information about the Family and Nursing Care Foundation, you can visit their website, familynursingcare.com/foundation. And for more information about the programs at Montgomery College, you can visit their website, montgomerycollege.edu. For more information about Home Care Partners, their website is homecarepartners.org. And I'd like to thank all of you for being here, and I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. And we'll see you again next time for the next episode of Connecting Our Community. You can also go to the Connecting Our Community blog on the mymcmedia.org website. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.